there's a lot of people in this country, in the world, but more than one might expect in America, who never had a fair chance. And once you take that away from someone, you can never give it back. Well, how is that possible? We protect freedom of religion in this country, but when those responsible for protecting these rights wouldn't know religion if it jumped out and bit their asses off, you get flat earth abusing freedom of religion to persecute. Now, I know there's not some, there are multiple cabals. It's not one big cabal where the Saudis assured corporate that when the Chinese come to get their money back, they'll be spared. I study theologies. There's an element of historicity where you examine history for corroboration. Now, when heretics like yourselves did this to Rome, what happened? I didn't become this way in prison, like so many. Society hardened me. I've been sitting here for 8 years talking about how I never fled prosecution, purposes of eye for an eye or precedent, pattern behavior. Oh, it's not going to be there when we show up. Am I under arrest? It's so stupid. I'm talking about, not just crimes against myself, but crimes against others, crimes against the state and humanity. And if your corporation isn't equipped to handle that, you have no right to decide whether or not I can talk to Washington. But Islam is not a real religion. First, do no harm or you're not a doctor. And nobody cares what your religion is. Think Socrates, think Greek Senate. Islam hates the Greeks. Islam is sailing around the world to prove its flag. Religion is a search for universal and eternal truth. A real religion doesn't have all these stipulations, like you're not allowed to read books. The eternal caliphate, the global Islamic empire, it basically, it worships the god of poppy. So they just want everybody to be high. They buy and sell Christians because you're either a slave of the prophet or the infidel. There's no in between, there's no other. You're either halal or haram. When the Taliban took over Afghanistan, it didn't matter if you spoke Arabic. If you sang the surahs incorrectly, they would chop your hands off. Now, some churches might do business with Islamic State. I'm sure it is koshered. It's not just laundered. For the rest of us, there's Washington. Now, if the IRS knew their ass from a hole in the ground, they'd be a little more careful about customs and duties. But I'm not just a man of complaints. I'm not even just a man of results. I'm a man of solutions, and I've taken the liberty. If you can afford to pay someone to take 5 minutes to look at my blog, mfrodeo.blogspot.com, it says more than just first do no harm or you're not a doctor. I'm talking about 5 full minutes of mind-blowing rhetoric. The LGBTQ thing, I just don't want to be exposed to that, and I don't want people who don't want to be exposed to that to be exposed to that. But priority is the IRS knowing what we tax or exempt, and the Supreme Court knowing what we protect or prosecute. First, do no harm, corporate, or you can't protect a fool and a coward from himself for all the gold in the